What is up? Ooh, what's up? All right. Whew, I just finished doing a video. Just recorded a video. Let's actually pull up my... That's what I want. Okay, now I can see myself. I can see the volume. I can see you, or at least the chat, so that's good. Let's actually pull up this too. Very well, very well. Sorry for being a little bit late. I was just recording a video and need a little bit more time to, record that video. I was actually doing a video about this. So I was doing a video about Aave, which is a crypto in the DeFi space. So that is going to be a video that I'm going to be releasing later today in about like 4 hours, more or less. Yeah, more or less 4 hours. Okay. Who do we have in here today? What's up? What's up? So we're actually going to do these live streams on Thursdays right now because the big news, the big news is that I've got a girlfriend, and yeah, of course I want to spend time with her during the weekends, usually when we have a little bit more time, and that means that I am not able to do the live streams during the weekend on Sundays, which is usually the day when I did my live streams. But right now I'm likely going to do these on Thursdays, which in my planning, like in my agenda, if you will, is basically the best day. So yeah, let's see if a lot of people are going to show up or not. And I also want to rethink a little bit my strategy with live streams, like what kind of value I want to provide with my live streams, because so far I've just been going live and I've just been talking with you guys and girls. I've just been answering your questions and just been talking a little bit about like technical analysis, some specs, some other stuff. So I'm kind of wanting to, I kind of want to think about what kind of value I want to provide during these live streams. Because usually not a lot of people show up. Maybe it's like 20 people who will show up, which of course is great. But yeah, it's not. I'm not sure if that is like the best use of my time. So I kind of need to think a little bit more about that, and yeah, maybe rethink how I want to do my live stream. So if you have any good ideas about live streams, like content during live streams, then definitely let me know. Then I would be definitely interested in hearing your opinions about that, so I can think a little bit more about that. Another side note is that in about 1.5 weeks time, I'm going to take 1 week off. So I'm not going to be posting any videos, not going to be going live. I'm not going to do my Stock a Glock videos. I might still be in the Discord a little bit. And by the way, if you want to join the Discord, it's for free in nesami.com/Discord. But I'm likely just going to take a week off just to take some well-deserved holidays. I really haven't taken any day off probably in the last well, since September, more or less. I can't really remember when I did a day without any work. So yeah, I don't really necessarily need it because I love what I'm doing right now, but I do think it is needed in the sense that I need to rethink a few of my strategies, like long-term strategies, not only with regards to the live streams, but also with my videos. If I want to hire like an assistant in the short term, my courses, of course, my technical analysis program, which I launched recently, the Discord Premium. So these are all things that I need to think a little bit about, and that is what I'm going to do in about 1.5 week time. So let's see what kind of things I'm going to come up with. And again, if you have any specific ideas, any specific suggestions for me with regards to live streams, programs, Discord Premium, content on YouTube, whatever you want, then definitely let me know either here or preferably if you go to, well, let's actually go there. If you go to nesami.com/Discord, you can join the Discord for free if you're not in there just yet. You can just leave your name, leave your email address, and then you're going to get access to the Discord, which is right over here. And when you go to the channel, which is called Feedback, here you can leave all your feedback about whatever you want. And then I'll take a look at it and I'll take those suggestions seriously, of course. Streamer mode is enabled. Stay safe, friend. Thank you. Thank you, OBS Studio. Very well. So yeah, here we talk about like all kinds of things like SPACs, European stocks, penny stocks. Well, not really penny stocks anymore, but crypto, basically anything you want. And of course, I also have a premium section where I share all of my research, all of the stocks that I research, all of the cryptos that I research. And I also share some buy and sell alerts. I do like other kinds of announcements. So if you want to join that, you can actually go to either nesami.com/member. But I also recently came up with a Patreon account. I think it's live already, but I haven't really experimented with this a lot. But I believe you can sign up for this on the Patreon, which is patreon.com/Nesami. I believe there's a link in the description too. But yeah, again, I haven't really experimented with this, so I'm not sure if this is actually working, and I still need to figure out how this is actually connected to Discord and everything like that. So maybe for now, just use nesami.com/member, which is going to be a little bit safer in my opinion. Okay, let's stop shilling myself there, and let's focus on you, because I think that's about everything I want to say for now. So let's first see if we have some interesting people in here. What's up? Who's in here? We have got, Alejun. How do you pronounce that, man or girl? Mohammed. What's up, Ali? What's up, Ilka? How are you doing? Hey, Nesami, how's it going? I wanted to ask about your camera setup. I'll get to that in a second. Please review BFLY, butterfly, right? And Hilke says hello, and Alejun says hi. What's up, everyone? So the first question was about EXO, EKSO. I think we looked at this a while ago, if I'm not mistaken. Let's actually pull up the weekly chart. So the weekly chart looks pretty horrible, very horrible actually. Since 2014, we are definitely in a downtrend, and yeah, that it could potentially have changed in the last couple of months, because we do see that we are looking at potentially a reversal in place. We are, of course, right now on the weekly, and we are making higher lows so far. So we had a low over here, we had a higher low over here, and potentially we're going to create a higher low right now. And we also had a high over here, which was a higher high compared to this high over here. So yeah, that is basically everything on the weekly chart. Let's see. What else do I want to mention about this? Let's actually go to the daily time frame. Let's see if there's anything interesting going on. So I do think this, let's see, more or less this is an important level, not entirely, but yeah, we do have a top in place over here, a top in over here, a bottom here, a bottom here, and a bottom here. So I do think that the $4.30 level is going to be a very important level. Between the current level, the price action between $5 and $4.30, I don't really see a lot of support. So this could definitely go down a little bit more, if you ask me. Yeah, long term, it just doesn't really look good. Let's actually take a look at the indicators. Let's see if we can have some interesting things here. So the indicators seem a little bit more bullish to me. So we can see that, for example, the RSI right now shows some bearish, bullish divergence, of course, meaning that the price action is making lower lows, whereas the indicator, in this case, the RSI, is making higher highs, higher lows, of course. So that is a good sign. But yeah, honestly, RSI is just flip-flopping around a little bit and is not really strong right now. But if this goes back to the upside, if you see this white line, the EMA on the RSI going back up, then I do think that could be a potential good signal for sure. So the MACD is a little bit similar to the RSI in my opinion. It's also flip-flopping around a little bit. Seems like it's a little bit more in a bullish posture, so I do like that. So yeah, we do have some competing things going on. I think as long as we are below, especially below the 55 EMA, I do think that we are still downtrending. I definitely think this can go to $4.30, but I do think that could be a very nice support level for EXO. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. I wanted to ask you about your camera setup. What kind of microphone are you using, and what camera, and also are you using ring lights? So you're asking about my microphone. I'm using a blue Jeti camera. I think it's like a Jeti Blue, something like that. Yeah, this one. So this is the microphone I'm using right now. The camera is a relatively old camera. It's a Canon EOS 200D. So that is this one over here. And with regards to the lighting, I'm using not ring lights, but I use other lights. I'm not entirely sure how to name these lights. I can't remember what the name is. Bresser. Let's see. Maybe I've got it in my search history. Bresser. So I think it's this one. Yeah, I agree. Oh, it's not available anymore. So I think it's the, well, whatever showed up here. So the Bresser BR2250 is what I'm using. I've got two of these bad boys next to me. And then I've got some other lights as well going on over here. So that is basically the setup I'm using. Please review BFLY. So that must be butterfly. Ooh, that's, yeah, having a nice little downturn. Not entirely sure why this went down 15%. Maybe there's a reason for that. Usually what I do when these things happen, I usually check out a stock tweet to find any kind of links about the stock that I'm looking at. So if we're going to look at BFLY, I usually filter by links. And then I usually check out to see if there's like any major information about this company right now. But doesn't really seem to be the way. This is pretty sad, of course. Okay, why does the CEO own a yacht when he's trying to save the world? Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah, so okay, so that could be interesting. Probably has to do with the earnings call, but did they already have an earnings call then? Not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. Let's see, Butterfly IR. That is usually going to help. Butterfly Network. Corporate overview. Okay, so they reported first earnings today, apparently. Yeah, today. So that likely led to the decrease, of course, in the stock price. And let's see. Well, I don't really, I'm not going to go deep into these earnings calls, of course, but we do see $12.4 million in revenue. So annualized, that's about $15 million. I think that, yeah, the market cap right now seems to be about 1.5 billion. So that is, of course, not very cheap right now if you look at the price to sales ratio. I would compare this to the investor presentation, which was launched when it was still a SPAC. I can't even remember what kind of SPAC this was before it became the company it is right now. But yeah, maybe check out the investor presentation, compare that to the numbers in the earnings call, and see why it went down this much. And with regards to technical analysis, I can't really do any technical analysis on a chart that looks like this because we just don't have any relevant price action over here. This can go basically anywhere. We can look at the indicators, however. RSI is still below the EMA. It is still going to the downside. Of course, it is already very low. It is already touching 20, which usually is overbought or oversold, of course. But yeah, it can definitely go a little bit further to the downside, in my opinion. Also, if you look at the MACD, it is increasing to the downside. So I definitely think we can see some more downside, but I don't really have any targets for this, honestly, because yeah, we don't have the floor anymore of $10 per share. When it was still trading as a SPAC, of course, we did have that $10 per share, but right now we don't have that anymore. So I hope that makes sense, Ali. I hope that was useful in some way. Hilke says, I think becoming a premium member isn't very intuitive. I didn't know how to become one until you just explained it. It isn't very visible anywhere. That's a very good suggestion. How do you call it? Opinion, remark, something. It's not very intuitive. Okay, so I'll briefly explain how it's set up right now. So usually, what happens when you join the Discord for free, when you just go to nesami.com/Discord, you're going to be set up for basically an email sequence. You're going to be sent an email once every week, I believe. And after about 3 weeks, I think that you're going to be invited to the Discord premium section. Now, you're definitely right that it isn't really very visible anywhere how to join it. I do sometimes during the videos say that, well, you can join the premium membership if you go to nesami.com/member. But I don't really do that very often, so that is definitely something I need to think a little bit more about. And I also want to improve the sales page, if you will, for the Discord Premium, because I'm not sure if it is, what do you call it? It is convincing enough, I suppose. So I've put a lot of time in my technical analysis program sales page, but not in my Discord Premium membership sales page. So I need to put more time into that as well. So let me know if you have any suggestions how to make it more visible for people or how to make it more intuitive for people how to join them. And by the way, in every description, I also have a link. But yeah, I can definitely imagine that, I can definitely imagine that it is not very intuitive for you to check it out. So yeah, if you have any suggestions, let me know. Hilke also says, I'm actually going for a walk in the beautiful town of Beesterswaag. Hey, mooi man. That's awesome. So yeah, I was actually in Friesland. I was actually in Friesland a week ago, last weekend, with my girlfriend, and we were walking across the beautiful nature of Oranjewoud, which you might know as well. That was just incredible to see. If you ever have some time left, definitely go there and take advantage of the beautiful nature that is over there. But I do suppose that the Beesterswaag also has some beautiful nature. Opinion on the 10-year Treasury yield and inflation concerns. Yeah, so first of all, just a little bit about me. I'm not really a macro economy guy. It's very a little bit difficult for me to understand. I know a few things, but the majority of the information that I have about the 10-year Treasury yield and about the inflation numbers are from other people. So I basically listen to opinions of other people's. I don't really have a strong opinion myself on all of these issues because I do think I lack the fundamental knowledge about the intricacies of inflation and the yields, etc. So I will say that as a disclaimer, if you will. But let's actually go to the chart because I do sometimes look at the 10-year Treasury yield. And as the premium members might know, I sometimes also talk a little bit about the technical analysis of the 10-year Treasury yield. I can remember because I make weekly videos for Discord premium members about technical analysis of the entire market and also of my stocks. And I remember talking about this level over here when we saw some resistance at 1.75. I do think that was a pretty big resistance back at that time. And I was saying that we saw a lot of divergence between the 55 EMA and the price action, so the yields itself. And that it was very likely that we would come down a little bit more, probably to this level more or less of 150, which was created by this price action over here, and also because the 55 EMA was very close there too. So right now we have come down to that 55 EMA, and now we seemingly are bouncing back off of the 55 EMA back to the upside. The indicators have been reset quite a bit as well. So whereas the 10-year Treasury yield has been going sideways a little bit, we can see that the RSI has been going down entirely. And now we see some hidden bullish divergence. So that is definitely a good sign for the 10-year Treasury yield, but probably a bad sign for growth stocks. We can also see that the RSI is back above the EMA, so that is good, positive for the 10-year Treasury yield, and also the MACD having a fresh cross to the upside. So I definitely think we can go higher. I definitely think we are going to go back to that 175 level and likely even go above that. Now, I don't really have, do I have? Yeah, I do actually have targets for if we go above the 175, I do think we're going to go to 195 if we are going to stay, if we're going to see a daily candlestick closure above 175. So I do think 195 is the next major level to look at. And it's going to be very interesting to see. Now, I think Kathy Wood says that she believes that it's not going to be above 2%. I'm not entirely sure if she said that, but it's something that is stuck in my head a little bit. That is my opinion on the 10-year Treasury yields. And inflation, I do know it is picking up. I do know that it is picking up a little bit more than was expected. I think it was about 4.2% instead of 3.6%. I believe someone said it was mainly because of the used car sales, if I'm not mistaken. There is a inflation guy on Twitter, which you might find interesting if you're into the inflation stuff. I think he's like Michael Ashton or something like that. But I believe he goes under the ticker. Not the ticker symbol, the handle, the inflation guy or so. The inflation guy, let's see. The inflation guy, come on. Inflation. Yeah, inflation guy, Michael Ashton. Yeah, I was right, I think. So if you're into inflation, then definitely check out this guy. He posts a lot of information about the inflation stuff, and I do think he said, or maybe someone else said, that the used car sales were increasing the inflation quite a bit, and that was why we saw 4.2% instead of 3.6%. Now, also what I have heard from people like Meet Kevin, from people like Kathy Wood from ARK Invest, then we can see that the inflation is likely temporary, or at least temporary in the sense that we might see inflation until like September, October of this year, and that it is just going to be temporary, and then afterwards we're going to see a decrease in inflation. So hopefully that is going to be the case, because right now it is definitely hammering down tech stocks, high growth stocks for sure. So that is definitely annoying. I do think right now it is being already priced in quite a bit. So I'm not sure if we're going to see continued inflation a little bit more. I'm not sure if we're going to have even more downside in the tech stocks, maybe in the Nasdaq stocks for sure. But I mean, well, if you look at some SPACs, they have already been going down so much. I'm not sure how much lower they are going to go. Today I picked up a little bit of Lemonade, and this has already gone down 66% more or less in just a few months' time. So I'm not sure if this is going to go even lower, you know, because the valuations are going to kick in at some point too. And at some point these stocks are just going to become too cheap, in my opinion, and people are going to pick these stocks up. What's up, Cesar? For your VACQ fund. You know what? I should just buy a few stocks with all the money you have donated me. So thank you for the $5. I'm actually probably going to do that. If can I do that now? I'm not going to do it. Am I going to do it now? I don't know. Wait, maybe I am. Let's see. Let's pull up a new screen. I'm just going to do a few things on the side, and maybe do some stuff. Could be funny. Thank you, Cesar, for donating, of course. I'm going to log into my portfolio to see if I'm going to be able to get some VACQ, because it's definitely funny. Let's see. So Cesar is donating every now and then. And he always says that I should be putting that money into VACQ, which is going to merge with Rocket Lab. I haven't done that yet. Why not? Well, basically because I haven't really done the research yet. I've been saying that I was going to do the research for a couple of for a couple of months now, at least weeks now. But so far I haven't done that just yet because I've been very, very busy actually. So let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I think this is right. All right. So here we have not my portfolio, but this is basically where I buy my stocks on the Giro. It's a Dutch platform, and I think Cesar has already donated like $20 to me. So I'm just going to put in an order to buy at least 2 stocks right now. So let's do that for fun. And now I'm the very proud owner of 2 stocks of VACQ, which is going to merge with Rocket Lab. So thank you for that, Cesar. When I'm going to be a millionaire thanks to Rocket Lab, then I'm going to thank you. Okay, let's get back to the stream, shall we? And I might actually honestly buy more in the future when I've done the research for it. I might actually also use the week off in 1.5 weeks to do a little bit more of research that I have been wanting to do. But yeah, honestly, for the last couple of the last couple of weeks, I've been very busy with a lot of things. So that is basically the reason why I haven't really been looking into new stocks just yet. Okay, how about the current status of STEM? So I actually started my position recently and I added a little bit more today. It seems to me that it's likely going to go even further down, but so far I'm not entirely sure where my position is. Well, I can actually pull it up for now. Let's actually see, because I did talk a little bit about that in my updates. So I update my Discord premium members every day basically. And right now, this is what the portfolio is looking like. STEM is currently in position number 11 out of 13, I believe. This is my long-term portfolio, if you will. So I'm going to hold most of these stocks for the long term, like 3 to 5 years. And a few stocks I won't. ALPP is a stock I'm going to sell out of when they uplist to the Nasdaq, because it doesn't really fit my strategy right now, or it doesn't really fit the stocks that I want to hold. So that is going to be going out. And XPeng is likely going to go out too. I do think it's a good stock to have. I do think it's a good valuation too. I was listening to the earnings call today, and the valuation of XPeng is definitely interesting. But I'm very focused already on EVs, on electric vehicles itself, but also EV charging. So I don't want to over invest into EV stocks. So that is the reason why I'm going to go out of XPeng when we have seen more movement to the upside. So those are two stocks I'm going to get out of. But yes, STEM so far is 11 out of 13. I am definitely planning on adding more to my position, so I don't really mind if this comes down a little bit more. And I wouldn't mind making this like my number 5 position, more or less. I do think that would be a solid allocation for a company like STEM. And let's see. I really need to go through these things a little bit quicker, I think, which you reviewed. Yeah, so that is my current status. And still holding TPGY and ChargePoint. Yes, these are definitely stocks that I'm going to hold for the long term, for like 3 to 5 years probably. TPGY is currently my largest position, and ChargePoint is like number 6 out of 13. So I definitely hold those. Hilke says, also, do you think demand pull inflation fears might be unfounded because the shift in aggregate demand is only temporary? Let's see. Let's see if I even understand the question. Demand pull inflation might be unfounded because the shift in aggregate demand is only temporary. Do you mean that because of the reopening, we have more demand right now in things like commodities, and that inflation is picking up because of that? Or is that not entirely what you mean? Again, I'm not the macro guy, so you likely know more about this stuff than I do. So my opinion is probably going to be worth less than your opinion in this case. I'm pretty sure about that. Remember, when I went to high school, my grades in economics were like one of the worst grades that I could have. So it's even a wonder that I'm doing this on YouTube and talking about investing. Okay, so is it temporary? I do think it's temporary, but it's mainly based on the opinions I hear from other people around me, like Meet Kevin, Kathy Wood, and some other people. So I do think it's temporary, but yeah, again, I'm not the macro guy. PaySafe, is this already really oversold? Let's take a look at PaySafe, shall we? I don't remember the exact numbers, but I do think this, I know this is one of the safer specs out there. I believe my target for PaySafe was about like $20 more or less, mainly based on the valuation, the peer valuation benchmarking with the other similar companies out there. I honestly do think it is undervalued, but do keep in mind, we just had earnings a few days ago. So it looks like the EPS was lower than expected. And yeah, that probably is going to be the reason for this downturn. But honestly, if you're long term, then I do think PaySafe is a pretty solid one. Maybe do check out the growth of PaySafe in the last couple of quarters. Maybe check out the revenue growth and some other kinds of metrics that they provide you with. But honestly, I do think that still PaySafe is one of the safer specs out there. Well, not a spec anymore, but one of the safer companies out there. Let's see if I can multitask making dinner and live chatting. If I burn the food, I'm in trouble. Don't do that, says hey Nesami, I know that this is not related to the markets, but I'm actually planning to study in the Netherlands. Awesome. And I want to know if you have any tips. I heard that the University of Amsterdam is really good. My only concerns is that as a non-EU citizen, it might be a little bit difficult to find jobs. Do you have any advice to give me? Ooh, that's interesting. So awesome to hear that you're interested in going to the Netherlands. I am in Amsterdam quite a bit myself because my girlfriend is living there right now. So yeah, definitely a cool place. Do keep in mind it is a very expensive place too. So I'm not entirely sure what country you are from. But do keep in mind that the Netherlands in general is a pretty expensive country, and that the rent is, for example, going to be quite high, especially if you're going to go to Amsterdam and if you're going to go live in Amsterdam too. So that is definitely something you need to take into account. Life in general is relatively expensive too. The food, for example, is probably very expensive, especially if you compare that to other countries. So again, it depends a little bit on your country, where you are from. I'm not sure if you believe that the stuff in the Netherlands is like very expensive or not. So my only concern is that it might be difficult to find a job. So I suppose you don't know Dutch. It is often a very good advantage to know Dutch, of course. Then you're going to get jobs way easier. Now, with regards to like English, if you know English well, and it does look like you do know English well, then I think it's not going to be a very big problem, because in the Netherlands, like basically everyone talks Dutch, and yeah, a lot of jobs also, or a lot of employees or employers, of course, also accept employees which are not speaking Dutch, so just English. So I do think that should not be a major problem. Now, it does depend a little bit on the sector you are wanting to find some kind of job in. So that is going to be a pretty big impact. So let me know maybe what country you are from and what job you are seeking and where you want to live. Those 3 things. Okay. Cesar says, I'm 99.99999% convinced that it's temporary inflation. Yeah, I also bought some lemonade and straight down. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's not awesome. It's horrible, but it's good to hear that you are also convinced that it's temporary inflation. So that is good. And it's good to hear that you bought some lemonade too. So yeah, I added more to my position today to yeah, bump up that position a little bit. Please don't follow Meet Kevin blindly. A lot of what he says is bullshit. Yeah, I get that, Mohammed, but I do think that macro-wise, he is going to have more knowledge on the situation than I have. I do have a lot of respect for Meet Kevin, and I do think that he is pretty savvy. He is pretty intelligent. I honestly believe he is one of the more intelligent YouTubers out there. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that all YouTubers are stupid. Definitely not. I think there are very many bright people out there, but I do hold Meet Kevin in high regard. Probably, yeah, one of the most intelligent YouTubers in my personal opinion. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. By the way, what you think about Meet Kevin and what kind of things you think are bullshit. So yeah, let me know. Cesar says, "Come on, you can do it. I'm so proud of you, and it will pay off." Diamond hands. Yeah, if I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to thank you. I'll pay you a visit in the United Kingdom or in Portugal or wherever you're going to be around the world, and I'll invite you to a beer or something like that. What's up, Ali? What is up? Would you please look at once at INPX chart, please? What's up, Manoj or some? That's a very interesting name. Would you please look at INPX chart? I invested 1K today, hoping to see a trend reversal. So let's actually take a look. INPX, Inpixon. I've never heard of this company in my life. Inpixon. Let's see what it does to get a little bit of a sense what it does. Maps, positioning, and analytics. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of my water, so I'm going to be quiet for a while and just enjoy the website here. Okay, interesting. Indoor intelligence. Indoor intelligence. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what it is used for exactly. What you would use these indoor mapping things for. Is this maybe a little bit like the company, what do you call them? It's a SPAC, Matterport, GHVI, I believe. Is that a similar company maybe, or is it completely different to that? So yeah, that's well, just a little question I have, but let's go back to INPX to look at the chart, because that is basically everything that I can do, because I don't really know anything about the fundamentals. Now, this is a very, well, small market cap. It just has $111 million in market cap, according to TradingView. Now, I don't know exactly how much revenue they are bringing in, so let's check out if they have an investor page too. Investor relations. And wins smart building solution. Okay, that's cool. First results, first Q1 results. And when is that? May 13. So today? They have earnings today? That is later today. Check out the earnings. Maybe you should have waited for the earnings call. So in about 2.5 hours, or 2.5? No, 3 hours, you're going to have an earnings call for this company. So I would definitely check that out if I were you. actually get rid of these tabs. But yeah, according to technical analysis, let's zoom in a little bit. I do think we have a pretty nice support basically where we are right now. So that is a good sign, which is basically created by this low over here, this low, this low, this low, and now potentially where we are right now. So that is, of course, also a mental support level, which is, yeah, basically around $1. So I do think this is an important level. And honestly, it could be a pretty interesting opportunity. But do keep in mind that we are still trading below the 8 daily exponential moving average, which is this white line over here. Do keep in mind also that the RSI is still below the EMA, and do keep in mind also that the MACD is still crossed to the downside. So the MACD, this blue line, is below the orange line, the signal line over here. So that is not the most bullish sign as of just yet, but the support seems to be very strong. So could this go back to the upside? For sure, but I think that the earnings call is going to determine the price action in the next coming days. Just want to take a quick look at STEM, by the way, because we are seemingly breaking down. I'm trying to figure out if we have a next level which we could look at. We do have a little bit of support over here, but I'm not sure if that's going to be very important. But yeah, it seemingly is breaking down. Let's actually take a look at, wow, XPeng is actually going down. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I mean, they are printing pretty impressive growth, in my opinion. So it's very interesting to see that company down. Yeah, bloody day. Let's actually very briefly take a look at crypto. So Polkadot is up 10%. Bitcoin is down 3.5%. Ethereum is breaking down too. I created a video a few days ago about Ethereum technical analysis, and I was basically saying that we might very well see a pretty big correction coming up. And honestly, I do think that this might be it. If we're going to close a daily candlestick right now where we are right now, then I do think we are going to see a pretty potentially a big correction. I would not mind seeing a move all the way back down to the 55 EMA, which is still a like $900 or $850 decrease from where we are right now. So I would not be surprised, but I'm just going to continue holding my Ethereum. Okay, back to the chat. View is being smashed. You still kind of like that company? Yeah, I still kind of like that company. I still do. It has a market cap of about $1.5 billion. It has $500 million in cash on hand. So the enterprise value is around $1 billion. And this year, they are still projecting a revenue of $75 million. I was listening to the earnings call yesterday, and I shared my notes with the Discord Premium members. And yeah, according to the investor call, they are going to have $75 million in revenue. So that gives you a price or an EV to sales ratio of about, 15. What is that? No, like 13.5 or something like that. So honestly, I do think I still honestly like the company. I still like the products. They just recently got a major project from Walmart, like $26 million contract. So let's actually check it out. Which honestly was very bullish in my opinion. I am still, well, not impressed, but it's still kind of interesting to see that View is coming down this much. For full disclosure, I added a little bit more to my position today. So I did want to take advantage of this dip. And can we dip more? For sure. But honestly, I still like it. I still like it. Let's see, projects. Let's see. No, I need to go to news, I think. Company news. Up stories. Yeah, this one. So we can see, yeah, it was a $26 million purchase of smart glass for basically the entire home office campus of Walmart, which is, in my opinion, a beautiful deal. So they still have a major backlog too of like $500+ million. And yeah, I'm still bullish about the company. Keep in mind, though, this is a long-term play. This is definitely. In the short term, anything can happen. Can this go back down to like $5? Sure. Can it go to $4? Sure. But in the long term, I'm still bullish about this company. I do know, I am going to say that they do have high costs. So that is definitely a major point of concern. But that's also the reason why it's not one of my biggest stocks. But yeah, let's actually quickly go back to this chart over here. It is currently one of my smaller companies out there. And I'm probably going to leave it more or less at this position. I don't want to bump View up to like number 4 or 5 of my position, my portfolio. So yes, I'm still I still kind of like the company Nato. Dating is very time consuming, says Cesar. How's life with a wife, by the way? Is that also time consuming? Do you need to date every single day, or how does that work? Or do you just chill every day, and do you just see each other at dinner? Or nobody should follow anybody on YouTube blindly. Yeah, I agree with that. As we can all be full of BS. Meet Kevin is a gem, and there's a very little BS coming from his channel. I agree with that, honestly, and I do think he's providing a lot of value. He's providing a lot of value quantity-wise, but also quality-wise. And I also agree with your comment about not following anyone blindly on YouTube. I do think a lot of people do exactly that. They basically, instead of doing research on their own, they go to YouTube, they find or they type in their ticker symbol, they watch one video, and then they decide to either buy or not buy the company or the stock or the crypto. So yeah, very interesting. Would you please? We already looked at that. When do you think EV stocks will come back? Looks like every EV stock is being shorted. Yeah, honestly, I think this is a short-term thing. Again, do I think that EVs are going to be the future? Yes. Do I think that EV stocks are going to be higher in 5 years than they are right now? Yes. So honestly, I'm not very worried about the short-term effects. Can it go down in the short term? For sure. But yeah, honestly, I think EVs are the future. I see them more and more every single day here in the Netherlands. I see the amount of charging stations increase a lot, not only here in the Netherlands, but also in other countries, of course, around us. In Germany, for example, TBGY or EVBox is installing a lot of charging stations. So that is very interesting to see. When do I think these are going to come back? No idea. I just don't really have a opinion on that, honestly. I like Meet Kevin, but I like Jeremy Lefebvre more. Yeah, I know the guy. Financial Education is the name of the channel. Very, very, very good. Yeah, honestly, I watched a lot of Jeremy's videos, well, like a few months ago. I started watching all of those channels, like probably almost a year ago now. Jeremy was definitely one of the channels I watched most. And at some point, he just kept talking about the same stocks over and over again. So I kind of got a little bit bored, if you will. And that is basically the reason why I'm not really watching a lot of his videos anymore. But yeah, definitely, if you're starting out and if you like the stocks that he is investing in, then I definitely think he is a very good name to follow as well. And he's also a little bit more focused on the valuation side of things, a little bit less on the hype, on the high growth stocks. So yeah, that's definitely a good combination to follow Meet Kevin, but also Jeremy Lefebvre, but also well, people like Andre Yik, maybe for Andre Yik for the crypto content, and also for some other interesting stocks. And of course, people like Dave Lee. Dave Lee, honestly, according to my opinion, is definitely potentially the highest quality content you can get on YouTube with regards to finance. Manoj, for security and office, fabric, military everywhere, similar to Cisco, but more innovative. INPX has today's quarterly results after market. Yeah, okay, cool, nice. How about Riot? That's the like blockchain crypto company, right? The Bitcoin mining company. I don't really, personally, I'm not going to invest in blockchain company or in Bitcoin mining companies because I'm already very invested in crypto company or crypto itself, in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Aave, Chainlink, and Polkadot. So I don't really, invest in these companies. So I don't really know anything about the financials of this company. That is something that you need to look at. And keep in mind, they are going to have earnings call relatively soon on the 17th of May. So on Monday, apparently, according to the TradingView stocks, the TradingView chart over here. Now, can we do some technical analysis on this? I suppose we can. So far, I do think we are going to see some support at this level, more or less, because of this low over here. So that is around $17.90, more or less. So let's just make that $17.90. Let's see, what else? Do you think this was an interesting level? Okay, yeah, so I definitely think we can go lower. I do think we can go to about $18 more or less because of this support level, but also because the RSI is still going to the downside and is accelerating to the downside. And the MACD, kind of like the same thing, we are still going to the downside. So far, I'm not going to call any bottom just yet. It looks like we got out of a major, descending triangle, actually. If we scroll in a little bit, we can see that we have been trading a little bit within this triangle, more or less, with the support over here at $39, and of course these lower highs over time. And then we broke out of that triangle, and then, well, yeah, the price action movement is likely still to go down in the next coming days. But again, I do think that the earnings call is definitely going to be important with regards to the price action in the next coming days too. Thank you, Nesami. When you talk so much about EVs, I would recommend you to add IRO to your watch list. It is, or isn't it, not anymore? I do think I eliminated it. So I did watch IRO for a second. I was actually invested in Solo for a second. I took advantage of the bump over here. I think I bought it around like in this region more or less, and then I sold it around somewhere here. I'm not entirely sure how the swing trade went, but it was basically a swing trade. And yeah, IRO is a similar company as far as I know. And yeah, it could definitely be an interesting company. I do think it is a slightly more niche product because of the like vehicles they have. Maybe I probably wouldn't see all of those IRO vehicles in the Netherlands. Let's actually briefly check them out. Maybe for like package delivery or food delivery, I could maybe definitely see these vans coming up. This is definitely something I could see happening. But I was talking about cars like these. I don't really think we are going to see cars like this in the Netherlands, for example. But honestly, I do like this one. I do like this one. I hadn't really seen this one before. So this is definitely an interesting concept. So yeah, I do like that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And let's actually take a look at IRO for a second. IRO. Yeah, still going down as well. Also having earnings today. So a lot of companies are reporting for earnings in this week, actually. It kind of looks like it's in the free fall. I don't really see any major support levels right now. So honestly, this can go down even further to potentially even this level of like $2.60, which is a major decrease, of course. But yeah, basically, I don't really see a lot of price action between the price action right now and $2.60. STEM at 1606 right now, trying to build an EV sharing index for the upcoming industry, manufacturers, network operations, utility companies. That's cool. That's cool. Any thoughts on a very good food company, Beyond Meat? Not really. Not really, honestly, Jill. I haven't really done any, well, I haven't really done a lot of research in those companies. I do know that Jeremy from Financial Education has been talking a lot about those two stocks, especially the very good food company. And personally, I've only been invested briefly into TTCF, so the Tattooed Chef, which of course is a similar company. This was probably one of my best swing trades of 2020. I basically started at like $15.60 and I cashed out at like $25. So yeah, that was a beautiful swing trade. But honestly, apart from that, I just don't really have any additional information about that. I like the people of the Tattooed Chef, by the way. I did listen to an Analyst Day presentation, and I definitely like the people behind it. But again, I don't really know anything about the industry. Cesar says, lol, yeah, marriage is dating on a daily basis. I got it wrong the first time, but making an effort to keep this one, as I like her quite a lot. That's awesome. Diamond hands. That's awesome, man. Happy for you. I'm honestly confused by the number of channels Jeremy has. Yeah. What does he have? Like 4 now? At least 3. But maybe even 4. This is like the financial education one, then financial education 2, and then number 3. And I think he was even talking about the number 4. So I'm a little bit confused too. But I do understand it, honestly, because once you have a fully built out YouTube channel and you start talking about different kinds of things, then the YouTube channel algorithm is a little bit confused and it doesn't really know what you're talking about anymore. I noticed it a little bit with my videos too. I have been talking a lot about SPAC valuation videos. Now I am turning a little bit more into technical analysis and a little bit more into crypto too. So now if I talk about crypto and technical analysis combined, the algorithm does usually push my videos a little bit more. But now if I talk about SPAC valuation videos, almost no one watches it anymore on YouTube. The algorithm doesn't really push that kind of content either. So it's interesting. So I kind of understand why he would have different channels, honestly, if he wants to talk about different kinds of content, because I know that financial education 3 or 4 or whatever is a little bit more about like entrepreneurship and businesses instead of just pure stocks and investing. Mohammed says, my only problem with Meet Kevin is that he doesn't really care about any valuations. One of his top recommendations is Etsy, which is extremely overvalued. Says it's a bargain at these prices, another company. He recommends is Enphase, which is also crazily overvalued in my opinion. That is... honestly, yeah, I can find myself in that, honestly. That is definitely true. He does care about valuations, honestly. But I do think that he is projecting things more in the future. So he looks a little bit more at the future revenue of a certain stock, usually like 2 to 3 years. I know a little bit more about that because I got 2 of his courses, the YouTube course and the investing course. So he does care about valuations, but he looks a little bit more at the future valuations of the companies instead of the current valuations of the company. So I hope that makes sense. Hashim says, I'm from Egypt. Okay. I know that the living expenses can be pretty high. I am prepared for that. Okay, that's very good. I don't know that much Dutch, but I am learning. I am planning to major in economics finance and going to investment banking. Okay, cool. I am able to get really good grades. Would it be difficult to find jobs and living in the Netherlands after graduating? So I think that's an interesting combination, honestly. If you are prepared for higher living expenses, that's good. I don't know that much Dutch. I don't think that's a problem. And you want to major in economics and finance and go into investment banking. So that's honestly an interesting combination of factors. Would it be difficult to find jobs? I don't really know a lot about the jobs in the investment space and in the finance space, but honestly, I do think that there is enough opportunity right now. Maybe check out a few few major companies that you maybe want to work at. Maybe check out if they have any like job openings, for example, on their website, and maybe also check out some job job openings boards, I suppose. I can't really remember if there are like major ones in the Netherlands because I personally haven't really used them. Because I kind of have been working on my own. But I do think there are opportunities for sure. Just a little side note, if you're into crypto, and blockchain, maybe check out ING, which is a Dutch bank. I today was looking at this bank, and they were looking into DeFi, decentralized finance, which, by the way, for you can be a very interesting thing to look at too, decentralized finance, because I do think that the traditional finance sector is going to be working a little bit more with the decentralized finance sector. And ING is definitely looking into blockchain, into DeFi protocols like Aave, which I'm going to do a video about later today, which I was recording right before this live stream. So maybe check out if you can do any jobs over there. Hope that was a little bit helpful. Monash says, what's your view over XRP, Ripple? I invested 3K in 2017 when the price was 250. Never sold until now, but do you know what? It sucks to see all crypto approaching and overcoming all-time highs, but this XRP has become nightmare to me. I just only invested in Ocean Protocol recently. And I don't know the last part of your sentence, but okay. Let's take a look at Ripple. Let's take a look at Ripple. Let's pull up the weekly chart and let's take a sip of my water. So honestly, Ripple has one of the, I'm not going to say worst charts, but it's definitely not a good chart long term. As you can see, this was basically a pump and dump. I'm sorry for you having bought at $2.50 because that was basically one of the highs, of course, and we are not back at that moment just yet. And then we just had a dump and we didn't really recover. Right now, we are seemingly recovering a little bit, but honestly, it's not a very good sign if you have a lot of volume going on over here, and now we are decreasing in volume where we are making newer, new local highs. It's usually not a good sign if you make new local highs on decreasing volume. Okay, so honestly, I'm not too bullish on Ripple in the long term. But yeah, again, I don't really know anything about the company itself behind it. So that I'm going to say too. Do keep in mind, of course, that Ripple is being sued or has been sued by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, because they think, or the SEC thinks, that Ripple is an unregulated security. And keep in mind also that, let's actually pull this up. Gary Gensler is right now the chairman of the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and this guy knows a lot about blockchain. He knows a lot about securities, because I actually followed a MIT course of this guy about blockchain and about crypto. So this guy is very knowledgeable when it comes to crypto and blockchain, and I remember him talking about Ripple during one of his videos, one of his lectures at MIT, and basically he said that Ripple, just like a lot of other altcoins, is an unregulated security, and well, according to the SEC, these should be regulated instead. This is not entirely what you need to see, but whatever. So yeah, do keep in mind that I'm not entirely sure how the lawsuit of Ripple is right now with the SEC. But do keep in mind that Gary Gensler, yeah, just a little side note, Gary Gensler likes regulation of the space. So I'm pretty sure he's going to lead to regulation in the crypto space. Maybe not only exchanges, but also companies like Ripple, who basically issued Ripple to people out there to raise money for their company, if I'm not mistaken. So fundamentally wise, I'm not too bullish on Ripple. I personally am more bullish on other projects like, well, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, Aave, Polkadot, potentially Cardano. I don't really know a lot about that just yet, but also other DeFi protocols like Compound, SushiSwap, Maker, NFTs, potentially like Chiliz. These are, in my opinion, better ones. But yeah, that's everything I can talk about Ripple. Okay, let's see. How about riots? Didn't we just talk about that, or was that another company? Let's go back to the chats of before. I think I talked about Riot, right? Did I talk about another blockchain company? Maybe I didn't talk about Riot. Maybe I talked about the other one. What's the other one again? I can't find it. Very good food company, Iro. Which one did we talk about? My memory is horrible today. Dating. PaySafe, ChargePoint, Stem. I can't find it anymore. Well, we talked about some other one. Didn't I talk about this today? Oh my god. Yeah, we did talk about this. Yeah, we did talk about. I was talking about this. Yeah, I was talking about the descending triangle and stuff like that. Yeah. So I already talked about Riot. Where do you think the bottom is for Stem? I'm probably going to say I don't know, because the problem is, we just don't really have a lot of price action for this chart. I was looking before at this level over here, this blue box, which was a very important box. But now, just like Riot, we actually broke out of a, and this is going to look very convoluted, probably according to your eyes, but we were basically trading within this descending triangle. We broke out of that, and that is basically probably the reason why we are right now going to the downside. I added a little bit to my position around this level at $17.50 more or less, because I did think that was going to be an important support level. But right now we are just crushing through that. So yeah, honestly, I do think we are going to go lower. The next support I see is more or less at $14.40. And that could turn out to be a more or less a major support, because the indicators are becoming quite low as well, and the valuation of Stem is becoming more and more attractive over time too. So yeah, I still want to add more to my position. Again, Stem is right now my position 11 out of 13, but I want to bump it up to like 5 out of 13 more or less. So I still have some more stocks and more shares to add. And by the way, says I'm really enjoying the technical analysis course, and I recommend it to anyone so far. Please be aware that I'm only halfway through, so the rest could be terrible. Joking. Great job on the course. Thank you, Cesar. I'm really happy you say that, honestly, because I did have someone else saying that it was a little bit too easy. but that person had quite a lot of experience with technical analysis. So for me, it's very difficult to create a course and to basically, what do you call it? Change the level of my explanation to the level of the people who are watching it. So the program is definitely meant for beginners. Let's actually pull up the sales page, because why not? It's nesami.com/TA if you want to join the technical analysis program, which Cesar is going through right now. So this is basically a program in just a few hours. I'm going to basically teach you what I've been learning in the last in the last year, basically. And I think it's a very important tool to have, technical analysis. It shouldn't be the only tool you should have, but I do think it's an important one to have. And this is basically a summary of the most important things in technical analysis, in my opinion, explained in a hopefully easy way. It's based on complete beginners. So yeah, do keep that in mind. And Ivan says, GME 165 calls last chance. Any call options going on? Okay. It's interesting, actually, because GME might actually be powering up for a nice move to the upside. Right now, we have been, we have been using the 55 EMA as support relatively nicely. We saw a major support over here. We saw a major support over here, major support over here. And now we seemingly are using the 55 EMA again as support. The volume is very, very low, so I would be looking at an increase in volume that could indicate a move to the downside. The indicators are a little bit flip-flopping around, not a very strong read as of just yet. And the MACD is flip-flopping around a little bit too, and not a strong read either. So far I wouldn't be too bullish on it, but if this closes a daily candlestick above this level more or less of 183, then I would be bullish for a move to the upside. And well, potentially even back to this level of 275 more or less. But yeah, so far it's okay. I would be looking for an increase in volume to see if that is going to do anything. Says, I'm down 100K already, and all I want to do is buy more. Yeah, is there something wrong with me? I've got the exact same feeling. I didn't even talk about the title of this stream, because today what I've done is I've been selling my swing trades. I had 3 big swing trades, or big swing trades. I had 3 swing trades, G and PK. That is one of these swing trades that I sold. And I also sold FRX. This one, which is going to merge with Beachbody, and I also sold TSIA, which is going to merge with Latch. Now, the reason for me doing this is that these stocks have been going sideways for a long period of time, and I'm doing a little bit what ARK Invest is doing. I'm selling out of my low conviction stocks, so my swing trades, to put that money into the high conviction stocks like Tesla, Lemonade, STEM, Teladoc, what else? TPGY, Upwork. So those are the stocks that I added today, actually. So yeah, again, I've been selling out of my swing trades to use that cash for my long-term holds, my highest conviction stocks. And it's a little bit what ARK Invest is doing. If you look at their daily buys and sells, you can see that they are selling out of companies like Google, Regeneron, Roche, and they are buying companies like Coinbase, Zoom. So they are definitely making a transition. And Kathy Wood also was talking a little bit about this in the latest webinar on Tuesday, I believe. She was actually saying that they were moving out of the low conviction stocks into high conviction stocks. So that's a little bit what I have been doing too. And I definitely understand, and I definitely feel the same way, that all I want to do is buy more. That is also what I feel, because there are definitely some attractive things out there. I'm just going to show you a little document. It's not going to be a very important document maybe, but it could be an interesting document for you to maybe check out. I made a small document for myself to figure out some of the price to sales ratios of a few companies. These might not be entirely accurate, but it does give you a sense of, how undervalued some companies are. If you look, for example, at Upwork, they this year are likely going to bring in about $485 million in revenue, and the market cap is about 4.8 billion, so the price to sales ratio is 10. And this company is still growing quite a lot year over year, so I definitely like the valuation of that company. Another company I like a lot is Teladoc, a pretty solid price to sales ratio too. Do keep in mind that the growth is a little bit decelerating over time, but this is definitely one of the biggest stocks of ARK Invest, for example. So these are all stocks that I definitely want to add more of over time, which is actually what I did today. So I bought more Teladoc, I bought more Upwork, I bought more Tesla, I bought more Lemonade, which is a little bit higher, of course, of a valuation, but do keep in mind they have a lot of cash on hand. So yeah, for beginners like me, it's perfect, as Cesar says about the course. That's awesome. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Tariq, what's up, man? How you doing? What do you think about ZEV? So that is still one of my swing trades that I do have, honestly. And they got more orders from Fluid Trucks and DHL, and announced partnership with REV Group and Solderholm Bus and Mobility. That's a lot of ands. Awesome. Sounds like good news. This is a very, very small swing trade for me. So far it's going horribly, of course, and honestly I probably should have taken a different approach, because I was not really using technical analysis, while I do want to use technical analysis more for my swing trades. So that is a little bit one of my mistakes, I suppose. But I do think that ZEV can be still going to the upside. I was actually looking at the investor presentation today, and just to remember myself that this is a company that just doesn't really have a proven business model just yet. So I'm looking forward to the next earnings call of Lightning E-Motors to see what they are going to talk about and what kind of revenue they actually expect to bring in this year in 2021. And then I'll rethink about my decision to either stop my swing trade or not. Actually looking at some stocks still declining. Ag Eagle declining too. It's likely going to go lower to potentially 375 more or less because of previous support, or well, previous resistance turning into support, very likely. That valuation is becoming a little bit more attractive over time too, but the price to sales ratio is still relatively high. Do keep in mind that they have been acquiring companies like Measure and MicaSense, which is going to boost the revenue. So this could definitely be a higher revenue. I could definitely see this having a revenue of like 15 million more or less. Oops, not 150 million. That's a little bit too much. But 15 million is definitely not out of the question for Ag Eagle this year. And I'm still looking forward to hearing a little bit more about the partnership with the major e-commerce client. And yeah, rest of the stocks are still horrible. Crypto still, Polkadot is a retreat or going up a little bit more, so that's pretty good. This actually had a very sharp decline today. I was looking at this, and a few moments later, I was looking at it again, and it had gone down like 10% in value. And right now it seems to go back up in value. So right now it has already gone up 5.5%. So that's pretty good. Tariq says, CEO also said revenue for 2021 and 2022 is backlogged at 60 million and 200 million. I agree, lots of people don't believe in a business model. They need to prove themselves. Yeah, that's exactly right. I do think that we are seeing right now a lot of people, a lot of investors who just don't really want to invest in companies that haven't really been able to prove themselves, that don't really have a business model that has been proven just yet. So they prefer to go into safer companies instead of these riskier companies. And of course, keep in mind that Lightning E-Motors is the EV company number 30, 40, 50 or whatever, and it's not the number one in the space. So that is definitely something that people are looking at too. Okay, I'm just going to go through a few more things just to check if there are some other things. And if not, then I'm just going to sign off and have some dinner. It's 8 o'clock p.m. over here. A little bit earlier, I suppose, compared to Egypt, for example. But a little bit later compared to the United Kingdom. So Nasdaq is having a doji candlestick, sign of indecision. You definitely see a bounce back to the upside. Potentially go to the 55 EMA. Would not be bad. RSI still going to the downside. Indicator still going to the downside. Increasing volume. So usually major bottoms or tops are based on high volume, as we can see over here. A lot of volume was over here, and we can see that that created a nice little bottom. So this could definitely indicate that we are close to a local bottom. We can see a major bottom over here too with high volume too with a bottom over here, and relatively high volume too with a bottom over here. So I do think that we could be close to a bottom. Let's actually see how much of a volume bar we are going to get today. I do think that's going to be important. Dow Jones has a pretty solid day, honestly, but I do think this probably is going to go back down to the 55 EMA. S&P 500 has already gone down to the 55 EMA, so let's see if we're now going to get a bounce off of that 55 EMA. 10-year Treasury yield, we already talked about that. Let's check out gold for a second. Gold, yeah, not too special right now. Silver, yeah, it did get rejected at that resistance level. Dixie, the dollar index. Okay, euro dollar. Okay. Yeah, I think that's more or less it. Let's check out sectors. Utilities having a good day. Basically all the normal sectors having a good day, and ARK Invest having a bad day. So the growth strategies are still seeing downside, and the more valuation or value plays are still seeing green numbers. Okay, let's check out lithium for a second. Okay, hydrogen down a lot. I'm actually looking forward, or actually trying to, yeah, okay, so plug power has come down a lot. That's interesting. Drones down in general. Red Cat is down a lot, by the way. We had a candlestick closure below support, and now are yeah, dropping a lot in volume. Did a video about this company a while ago, or like last week. Could be interesting to watch if you're into drones. Okay, I think that's about it. Dinner is ready, says Cesar, and I didn't burn anything. So until next time, what's up? That's awesome. So yeah, I'm going to have dinner myself too. So I would like to thank you for being here. And again, if you want to join the Discord for free, you can go to nesami.com/discord. If you want to become a member, nesami.com/member. If you want to get the TA course, just like Cesar, nesami.com/TA. If you want to have a BlockFi account and get some nice presents over there, BlockFi, nesami.com/crypto. That's basically probably all the links that I can think of right now. And for more links, probably check out the description below this video. I would like to thank you for your time. I would like to thank you very much. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all the suggestions that